footsteps stopped right outside the door. I hadn't moved in 4 minutes. I was sitting underneath the security desk, knees pulled tight to my chest. Phone screen turned face down so the light wouldn't give me away. My breathing was the loudest thing in the room, and I was doing everything I could to make it stop. And then the door handle moved. Let me take you back to how I ended up there. My name is Andrew. I was 26, living alone, working a dead-end data entry job that barely covered rent. A friend of mine told me about a night security position at an office building downtown. Good hourly rate, no experience required, mostly just sitting at a desk and doing rounds every 2 hours. I took it the same week. The building was old, 12 floors, mostly corporate tenants, empty by 7 every evening. My shift ran from 10 at night to 6 in the morning. The first week, I genuinely loved it. It was the quietest job I'd ever had. I'd do my rounds, check every floor, come back down, make coffee, watch something on my phone, do it again. I used to joke to my friends that I was basically getting paid to be alone with my thoughts. Easy money, nothing to worry about. I should have paid more attention to the building. It was the third week when I first noticed the elevator. Every night, without fail, at exactly 2:17 in the morning, the elevator would be called to the 6th floor. I'd watch the number on the panel above the doors climb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and stop. Doors would open, doors would close. Nobody ever came down. The 6th floor was locked off, no active tenants. Renovation supposedly in progress. Keycard access only. I mentioned it to the day shift guard on my way out one morning, and he laughed. Old building, he said. Faulty wiring. Don't get a second thought. I didn't. 2 nights later, I was doing my 1 a.m. round on the 4th floor when I stopped walking. In the middle of the corridor, directly in front of the stairwell door, there was a chair. Office chair, black, standard issue. The kind every floor had dozens of, but this one had been pulled out of an empty office, wheeled to the center of the corridor, and positioned to face the stairwell door directly, like someone had been sitting there, watching the door, waiting for something to come through it. I stood there for a long time looking at that chair. I checked the camera footage when I got back downstairs. Nobody on the 4th floor, not all night. The chair had simply appeared there with no explanation the cameras could offer. I filed a report. Management replied the next morning, saying probably the cleaning crew. They told me not to worry. I tried not to worry. The next 3 nights were completely quiet, and I almost convinced myself that I'd been overreacting because something had shifted in the way the building felt to me after the chair. I started noticing things I'd been tuning out. The way the silence on the upper floors felt different after 3 in the morning. Not empty, but like occupied. Like the difference between a room nobody has ever been in and a room someone just left. I noticed sounds I've been filing away as the building's settling. A soft shuffle above me when I was at the desk, rhythmic, almost like paper turning. I noticed, on the 3rd floor one night, the very distinct smell of cigarette smoke near the bathroom. Nobody smoked in the building. I searched the entire floor. Nothing. I started calling a friend during my shift just to have a voice in my ear. She laughed at me one night and said maybe I had a ghost. I laughed too, but I didn't feel like laughing. It was a Tuesday night when everything changed. 2:49 in the morning. I was on the 5th floor doing my round. Flashlight on. Same route I always took. I turned the corner toward the east corridor and stopped. The door to the corner office was open, not wide open, just slightly, maybe 4 inches. That door was always locked. Every single night, for 3 weeks, that door had been locked. I stood there in the corridor, and I thought about the chair. I thought about the elevator. I thought about the cigarette smoke. Then I pushed the door open. The room was dark. I swept my flashlight across it slowly. On the desk in the center of the room, there was a coffee cup. I walked to it before I fully understood what I was looking at. I held my hand over it, warmth rising. There was faint steam. That coffee had been made within the last 30 minutes. I left the room exactly as I found it. I went back to the security desk, and I pulled up every camera feed on the monitor, and I started checking them one by one. 1st floor, clear. 2nd floor, clear. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then I got a camera 6, the 6th floor, and my stomach dropped. It was static. I scrolled back through the archive. The feed had been cut out 2 hours and 14 minutes ago. I had done 3 rounds since then. I had walked past that elevator 6 times. And for 2 hours, the only camera covering the locked-off 6th floor had been completely dead, and I had not noticed because nothing was ever supposed to be up there. I called my supervisor, straight to voicemail. I called the building's emergency line, automated message. I sat at that desk completely alone with no idea who else was in that building with me. Then the elevator dinged. I watched the floor indicator above the doors. 6, 5, 4, 3, stop. I heard the doors open 1 floor above me, and then I heard footsteps, slow and deliberate, not rushing, not trying to be quiet, like whoever was had nowhere to be and nothing to fear. I turned off the lights at the security desk. I got underneath it. I turned my phone face down. I pulled my knees to my chest, and I made myself as small as I possibly could, and I counted my own heartbeats in the dark because there was nothing else to do. The footsteps came closer and stopped right outside the door. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. 1 minute passed. 2, 3, 4. I counted every second. And then, slowly, deliberately, the door handle moved.